And here we are again. I didn't check the episode number before we started. Do you have it
I'm pretty
offhand?
I'm pretty sure it's 26 because I knew for a fact that the last one was 25.
25. Yeah, I had a.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I have a sort of a. If I could have guessed, it would have been 26. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, right. Because 25 is a nice round number. It's really easy to remember. It's like one quarter of 100. So,
Exactly. That's right. And so it's been 2 weeks since the last one, hasn't it? We didn't have to delay at all. Yeah. So
yep.
I've been to the conference in New Zealand. I think we're both pretty tired at the moment, actually, but for
Oh
various
yeah.
reasons.
Yeah. Just lots going on, lots to keep track of. I want to write more articles for Voice for Men, Robert, but I really just don't have the time to do uh uh billion ideas at once. I need to focus on one thing, and that takes like a month or two or three. And
I know what you mean. Yes. In fact, I haven't even been writing that many. I've been writing that many articles for Wiki for Men, although I do have some planned, which I'll be getting out soon. But I've been writing quite a bit on my book, and I can sort of see the light at the end of the tunnel now. So hopefully, get that done within a few months, at least the initial draft done in a month or two, I think, and then clean it up and publish it in a few months. And I've been doing a lot of Wiki for Men articles as well. So, which is I got over 1,000. I was sort of a bit of an aim. It was actually sitting because I was preparing for the New Zealand conference, the India conference in preparation, writing the presentations and so forth. Wiki for Men wasn't getting much attention, and it was sitting at 998 featured articles for about a week. And I said, no, I've really got to do something about this.
Mhm.
So I went ahead and I wrote a couple, and I actually can't remember which one it was now, but I picked a particular article to be the 1,000th featured article, and I recorded it.
Yep.
It's I think it's on the talk page and the main page of the wiki or something. So I
Mhm.
recorded, and I'll record the 10,000th and so forth. But anyway, yeah. So I also haven't been writing many articles on AVFM, but yeah, I'll be getting to that too. So I've just been to New Zealand, gave the presentation over there. That's the Men's Summit in New Zealand. They've been running that for, I think this is the 8th year that the conference has run. And yeah, fabulous little conference. A great group of guys over there. So I've known Gordon for a while. He's sort of been my main contact in New Zealand. I was originally supposed to present in 2020, and of course, like everything else, it got shut down. And I did online presentations for a couple of years, and finally managed to get there this year, which is absolutely fabulous. Yeah, so it's a lovely bunch of guys, and it's interesting to talk to people there. There's a number of guys, of course, who've been absolutely destroyed by the system, and a lot of them are professionals and so forth. And it's a story we see elsewhere as well. But and in addition to that, we decided to make a bit of a holiday of it, family holiday, and we went touring around New Zealand for just a week. And I have to say, for me, it's the next country over, right? So I've been to Europe and lived in North America and everything. I'd never been to New Zealand, and
Mhm.
this is the first time I went there, and it's a lovely country, and I highly recommend it to anyone who's thinking to come to our part of the world. Australia's obviously great too, but I was really impressed by New Zealand. There's just so much to see in terms of natural beauty and so forth, and natural wonders. At one point, we were driving along on the road, and it said mud pit. And we went, well, that's a bit interesting. Well, what's that? We'll pull over, and we pull over, and right near the road is this mud pit with
Mhm.
gas coming out all the time, a bit like, I guess, Yellowstone, the type of thing. So I actually, having lived in North America, I never went to Yellowstone, so and I regret that now. But mud pit by the side of the road in New Zealand, just absolutely extraordinary. To me, the most extraordinary thing is the fact that it was doing this all the time. It was very, very active and so forth. In fact, they did warn that even on the viewing platform, which has a railing and so forth, it's actually possible to get splashed by mud. So if it's a particularly big mud eruption or whatever. So, but while you're there, you could hear it from 10 or 20 meters away as you're approaching it. Absolutely extraordinary spot. Yeah, we drove into a little city called Rotorua, which is actually quite famous in New Zealand, and steam was just coming up from the ground.
Mhm.
Absolutely extraordinary again. And there were some number of big geysers there and so forth. But just driving down the road, you just see steam coming out. At one point, there was a gas station by the side of the road. It was actually closed, and the vent in the
Oh.
road outside the gas station had steam coming out of it. And we were kind of laughing at them building a gas
Yeah.
station right on event,
Hmm.
right on this. But anyway, so yeah, amazing little country to go to. We only sort of stayed about, there's two main islands, the North Island and the South Island. We only stayed about mainly around one area called the Bay of Plenty. But I highly recommend it, and I'm not taking any payments from the New Zealand Tourist Board, I swear.
Okay.
So that
Okay.
was my trip to New Zealand. Yeah, the presentation I think went really well. Was well received by the audience. Great
Mhm.
conference. I stayed for the entire conference, just a 1 day
Sure.
conference. There
Right.
were a number of really interesting presentations there actually, and yeah, and the rest of the time I spent just touring.
Okay. Now, why have I not heard of the men's conference before? We've been talking about you going.
Yeah, it's a good point. I have tried to publicize it a bit on Twitter and on AVFM a bit over the years, but it's not very well known outside New Zealand. I would say it's not even very well known in Australia, and I think I'll probably even have to ramp up my game a little bit and try to help them
Sure.
out a little bit. One of the great things about going to a conference and why I went to ICMI 16 originally as an AVFM representative and helped run 17 is networking. You meet people in person, and you get to know them as people. And it's been absolutely, it's a fabulous opportunity to get to know the guys down there. And I'm going to be maintaining a closer contact with them actually going forward. I've
Sure.
got some plans there through EVFM that'll help us keep in contact. So, yeah. So anyway, it was a great trip, great conference. And yeah, we're going to go back to New Zealand for another holiday because we loved it that much. So that was New
And
Zealand.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, go on.
All right. Now you said there were going to be some recordings of the conference.
Oh yes, they did. Excuse me, they did record all the speeches. I'm not sure what's happening when they're going to be released. There were a couple that I know are not going to be released because the speakers, keep it on the down low.
Yep.
So I do know that we were provided some instructions early on that if there was any any recordings of a couple of people who were present, to not release those recordings. So yeah.
Ah,
So
sure.
anyway, but mine should be released, I think, but that'll be up to them.
Okay. All right.
And I guess
Okay.
next one on my list, I don't know, jump in if you've got anything there, Vernon.
No, I'm kind of just taking everything in. Just
All
yeah.
right, poor thing, you're looking tired. Yeah,
Yeah.
I must admit I was tired after this trip, but it was worth it. Lucy Letby. So Lucy
Okay.
Letby, of course, is a British nurse who I think a month or two ago was convicted of murdering a number of children in the hospital. She actually made statements of admission,
Hmm.
basically saying, I think something along the lines of "I'm evil." I have read, although I haven't confirmed, but I have read that the trial was 10 months long, which is really quite a long trial. There may have been deferments in there, perhaps, but that is a very, very long trial. And they only, as is usually the case with these things, they only convicted her on a number of the cases. It's when they're looking at many charges, it's not unusual for them to just pick the best ones, as it were. I know that seems cold, but their job is to prove these cases. So they'll pick the best ones and go with those. Unfortunately, it doesn't mean that she may be convicted for everything that perhaps she did. So,
Mm.
but apparently, Lucy Letby is planning an appeal.
Mm.
And there are a fair number of people who are going around. I've certainly seen personally online saying Lucy Letby is innocent and this is some sort of travesty of justice. So I have to say, I would have thought the evidence against her was pretty strong, but it would be interesting to see what happens there. So as I always say, let justice be done.
Hmm.
But I think she received. It seems she received a fair trial. Even people who think she's innocent aren't claiming that the trial wasn't fair in itself. Anyway, there might be another trial. So you sort of have
Okay.
to see how
Well.
that goes.
Yeah, oh yeah, sure. And I hope the law tubers tune into this one.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Mm.
That's right. Yeah. Uh, that's probably all I have to say on Lucy Letby. Actually, I guess. Well, I don't know
Yeah, I
when this.
mean, yeah, exactly. I, I mean, if the evidence is out there, it's the same old story, right? It's like, women can do no wrong, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's almost like, she appealed, not like she made the admissions and then
Yeah.
forgot that she can tap into the the women are wonderful card. And
Exactly.
so,
Yes, yes. Or she may not have been keyed into that and found out about it later on, maybe, because not all
could be,
women know
yeah.
about that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, as for those who don't know, women are less likely, or women are better benefit at every stage of the judicial process. So they're less likely to be suspected. They're less likely to be arrested. They're less likely to be charged. If they are charged, they're less likely to be convicted. If they are convicted, they are less likely to have a custodial sentence, and if they have a custodial sentence, the custodial sentence will be shorter. So, at every stage, it is better for them. And so, yeah, and here we have a lot of people being sympathetic. Some people, I shouldn't say many, but some people being sympathetic towards Lucy Letby. And yeah, I guess there will be interesting to see what happens with if a retrial occurs. I don't think it's guaranteed, and yeah, what the result might be.
Yeah.
There's actually another British woman who comes to mind. I only learned about in the last few days, and I actually haven't written her name down, but I do have her on Wiki for Men. But no, I don't have the name there, and that's okay. That's all right. It's I've been. Yes, I won't go. I'll double check my facts there and come back. But there was a woman recently who was convicted of a very serious offence. I'll find the details and mention it next time. Convicted of a very serious offence, and it came out that she had committed a serious offence quite a number of years before, and I think hadn't been charged or anything over that. So, or hadn't had any significant penalty. So, and anyway, this woman is now this woman is imprisoned, and I was reminded recently of the British push to eliminate women's prisons. And I think I think the plan is to maintain one small prison for women who really can't be controlled, as I would say. But I think this woman would be among those who even then I think they probably wouldn't let out. But yeah, it just reminded me of the situation in the UK where there has actually been a push to eliminate women's prisons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we know all about that.
Exactly. And speaking of the UK, now I'm probably going to mispronounce her name. It's Edyta Sonta is her surname. Edyta, I'm going to go with. Okay, so she was living. She's a Polish woman, and she was living in the UK for a number of years with the father of her child, Rhiannon Tulin. And Edyta has returned to Poland with her child with Rhian, and poor Rhian, who's the dad, has sorry, Tom, my mistake. Sorry, Rhian's the name of the young girl. Sorry. Tom is British. Tom Tulin. Tom is still in the UK. His former partner, Edyta Sonta, has gone back to Poland with Rhian, who's a young girl, who I think is maybe about 10 now. And Tom was able to speak to his daughter once after about a year after she was taken. I think this is about 4 years ago. Yeah, it's 2018, so about 5 years ago now. And she's still in Poland, the young girl, Rhian, and Tom's still in the UK, and he hasn't spoken to his daughter at all in about 4 years. Poland is apparently notorious for not following up on parental child abduction like this, international parental child abduction. So generally the mums will go to Poland, stay in Poland, and they'll be safe. So we've got her on Wiki for Men. If anyone sees her, there's an Interpol yellow notice out for Rhian Tulin, who's said I think about 10 now. So Rhian has British and Polish citizenship. So this is yet another case that I'm going to be bringing up regularly, and I'll be adding a few of these as well, and just bringing them up regularly. Somebody out there knows where these people are, and if we know the Polish authorities are reluctant to act, but there is an Interpol yellow notice out there. If they have positive identification of where the mother is, then really they should do something. All we can do is make sure they get that information. So if anyone does know where Editia Sonta or Rian Toolan is, you can contact Suffolk Police. We have the information on Wiki for Men, as I said, or you can contact your local police. So the last one I've got before, I don't know, do you have anything there?
Nope, it's just same as the Zoe McClellan, you know.
Oh, what was that? Sorry,
Same as Zoe McClellan.
Exactly. That's exactly right. That's right. And as always, I shall be mentioning Zoe at the end. We're wrapping up. Oh, I mentioned Zoe at the end of my presentation in New Zealand. So every time I do, every time I do a presentation, every time we do one of these recordings, we're mentioning Zoe McClellan until she's in custody. So, all right. I seem to have lost the other page. I was going to just quickly. Here we go. There we go. Found it. So. Salvatore, not Salvatore, but Salvatore Vasta is a federal circuit and family court judge in Australia. He's currently a serving judge. He imprisoned a man in 2019. I think it was 2019. Yeah. Right. So yeah, it was 2019. He imprisoned a man for, I think, breach of a court order. I think it was. The man spent 2 weeks in custody. When the man went to court, he said to the man, "I hope you brought your toothbrush," which has generally been regarded as a pretty inappropriate comment for someone who's about to be taken into custody. Anyway, this man spent 2 weeks in custody. It was overturned on appeal. The man has successfully sued, or successfully been granted the right to sue. No, my mistake. Sorry, successfully sued Salvatore Vasta, the judge. So this is the first time in Australian history that anyone has successfully sued a judge for a judgment made in a courtroom. So it's quite significant. Yeah. So this man, by the way, has been given the alias Mr. Stradford. And he has successfully sued the judge, Salvatore Vasta, for 300,000 Australian dollars, or about 240,000 US, I would say. There was also another incident involving Salvatore Vasta, the judge. In 2018, he was hearing a case in the family court related to a same-sex couple, and he inexplicably ordered the child to be baptized as a Catholic, despite neither parent requesting this, and baptism not being previously mentioned during the hearing.
So this just came out of the blue, just out of nowhere.
He actually ordered this child. I think maybe that may be his background, although I'm not sure about that. He's of Italian extraction, and that's a Catholic country, but I don't know what his personal views are. But that's what he did in 2018. That was considered to be very inappropriate. And I think what is particularly interesting is that Salvatore Vasta, now, I repeat, he's a sitting court judge in Australia at the moment. There have been some calls for him to be removed from the bench because of these cases and some other things people aren't happy with. I've personally received some information about Salvatore Vasta in terms of opinions that have been expressed to me privately about him from men who have been in his court. Obviously, I can't repeat those. But long before I heard about this 2019 case, things have been said to me personally about him. So I personally perhaps don't have a very high opinion of him or his judgments. But what's particularly interesting is that Salvatore's father, Angelo Vasta, was also a court judge. And in 1989, Angelo Vasta, Salvatore's father, was removed as a judge by Act of Parliament. Now, in Australia, judges can only be removed by Act of Parliament, and I believe he's the only judge that we've ever removed in Australia. Angelo Vasta, he was enough of a problem that the Parliament spent the time to draft an act to remove him from office as a judge.
What did he do?
I've read about it previously. I actually don't recall what it was, but yeah, he has a page on Wikipedia. You can read up on him. So, anyway, It's interesting that Salvatore, his son, there are now calls to him to be removed, and there are a couple of concerning cases that I've just mentioned. So, it will be interesting to see what happens there. I just think it's really interesting that his father was actually removed as a judge.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So those were actually ones I had from last time, other than New Zealand. Those are some items that I had on my list, but hadn't get a chance to talk about last time. That's all I have for tonight, actually, or tonight for me. But I don't know if you've got any final thoughts or anything you want to discuss.
Well, I don't remember if I mentioned this in previous episodes, but yeah, I'm working on new videos, and I'm just going to do a new series called it's tentatively called the gynocentric language. Basically, stuff in the English vernacular that we take for granted that are actually gynocentric or blue pill, things like man up and other things like that. And in fact, man up is what I'm intending to as the first episode. But I'm still working on it because we're just busy people. So
yes, exactly. That's right. That's exactly right. I wish we had more help. I really do. If you are interested in helping us, reach out. There are very few of us that are really active in this, and the amount of work involved is absolutely huge at times. And people do burn out at times, so it's important for us to balance things, have some work-life balance, as we always advocate for other men.
Yep.
And if anyone's interested in helping us even a little bit, there are all sorts of ways you can do that. So feel free to reach out to A Voice for Men if you're interested. info@avoiceformen.com.
What he said.
All right. Anything else before we finish up? I guess it's a short one tonight.
Yeah, this was a short one for sure. Yep. But I think that's just about it. So you said you're going to India.
Oh, yes. Thank you. I am. ICMI 23 is in India. I am presenting in India. The presentation principally concerns the West. I think I may have mentioned a little bit about it before, but basically the audience will be primarily Indian, although there are obviously some people coming from overseas. But really, I wanted to give a précis of the state of the West. Really, there are many, many problems we have in the West, and also I want to talk a bit about the feminism and what's been going on recently in Western countries and so forth. So that'll principally be the area I'll be talking about. But I do, without giving away any more, I do touch on quite a few areas.
Okay, sounds good. And depending on how tired you get after that, we may not have a show next time, right?
So that's right. I think it's a few days after I get back. It's not too bad for me. Obviously, New Zealand is only 2 hours. India's only about 5 or 6 hours difference. I've done quite a lot of long haul travel, so I'm quite used to jet lag, and I usually recover enough to be coherent reasonably quickly. There's an old sort of rule that says that, or a guideline, I guess, that it takes you 1 day per hour of time difference to fully recover. Okay, and I'd say that's true, but you're most of the way pretty quickly. I think, at least I am. But I'd say to fully recover does take. So when I've traveled 10 or 12 hours to North America, or whatever, I'd say it's about 10 days before I feel normal again. It's a strange feeling to get with extreme jet lag. It can be a strange feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. So I think India's 5 hours or something like that. Yeah. So we'll be fine. So yeah, we'll find out anyway. If I'm really, really wiped out, I guess we can push it back a week or two or something like that. But thank you. Well, hopefully I'll be all good.
Absolutely.
Right. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon.
And Zoe McClellan is still at large.
Thank you. Before I go, I nearly didn't. Thank you very much. Zoe McClellan. Okay, right. Yes. Have you seen actress Zoe McClellan? She is wanted in the Los Angeles County, in relation to charges of kidnapping, child stealing, and child custody deprivation. She was last seen, I believe, or last reported residing in the River Ridge area in Louisiana. There was some suggestion she might have been in Canada, some that she might have been in Washington State, where I think she's originally from. However, the best information we have is that she's probably still in Louisiana. We're told privately that she has wealthy family there, and that they may be assisting her. She has previously used the alias Sarah Chandler. That was before she disappeared, so I think she was using that as when she was traveling as an actress. But as I said, if you have any information, contact the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office or your local police, because she is wanted. Thank you.
All right. See you around, Rob. And
Bye-bye.
good luck in the conference.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I'll next time, if it's in 2 or 3 weeks or whatever, I'll give everyone a report on that one too.
Sure
Thanks.
thing. All right. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.